Hey guys, Sean here. It's been a little bit since I did a Friday Reads style video, about a month and a half, really about a month, close to a month and a half since I've done anything other than the BookTube spin list. I had some things that kind of kept me from filming when I wanted to. If you saw my BookTube spin list video, you'll hear that I had a dental issue that prevented me from doing some filming. Had a tooth get infected and had to do a unexpected tooth extraction. So that was painful and required a little bit of recovery time. Then I had a experience a couple weeks ago with just really bad, scary heartburn. I had been intending on getting some stuff recorded and some updates recorded that week, and that didn't happen. I went to bed Wednesday night and woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning with just scary bad heartburn. It hurt almost all through the next day. I went to the doctor's office and just to get checked out, just to, get an EKG done and make sure that, that's really what it was and nothing going on with my heart. My EKG checked out fine. It was just really bad, really bad heartburn. So that kind of knocked me out for a little bit, and then last week I had my second COVID vaccination, and that knocked me out for for the next day. I've been trying to record on Thursday evenings to get a Friday update video out, and I just keep getting hit. The second COVID vaccine I ended up with just a massive headache all day, a fever, chills, and I basically slept most of the day that Thursday. I had the shot on a Wednesday, and I basically slept most of the day that Thursday. I actually had the first COVID vaccine the day before I got the tooth extraction, so that week was just a mess. So I don't even know if I had side effects from the first COVID vaccine, because I had the tooth extraction the next day, and I couldn't tell you what was from the tooth extraction and what was from the COVID vaccine. So yeah, just some stuff that has gone on that has kept me from filming. But what I want to do, if you've been with my channel, anybody who's been with my channel since the beginning will remember that I used to do, when I was Eclectic Reads, I used to do a weekly series. Tried to make it weekly. If I didn't have anything to talk about in a week, I would do it in a bi-week. I would wait 2 weeks, but I used to do what I called My Week in Books. And if you look back through my channel history, you'll see them back there like 3 years ago. I want to say 3-4 years ago. I don't remember how long I've been doing this. I kind of have my thing up. I could look. 2017 I started, so yeah, close to 4 years ago, I used to do a series called My Week in Books, and that instead of doing monthly hauls, monthly wrap-ups, I just did a weekly update, and I did what I read, what I was currently reading, and anything I hauled that week, all just in a weekly format. And I kind of want to go back. I want to get back to doing that, but I want to incorporate the film part into it, because what I'd like to do, I had the thought I might try and do, and we'll get to some books here in a minute. I had the thought that I might try and do like Monday movies. I had it kind of worked out in my head: Movie Mondays, Whip Wednesdays for FlossTube, and then Friday Reads. But let's be honest, I'm not going to get 3 videos out a week every week. I'm going to be lucky if I get 2 videos out a week. FlossTube videos, I'm going to try and do those on Mondays, I think. And then those are going to be if I have significant progress to show on the projects. I'm not going to commit to weekly on those, but probably I'm hoping to have one out this Monday, and then I'm hopefully at least on a bi-weekly basis show progress on those. But the books and film I want to kind of combine into one and do kind of a my week in books and film. So I think that's what this is going to be called, is my week in books and film. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cover books first, what I've finished, what I'm reading, any books I've gotten in, and then I'm going to move on to film, what I've watched over the week, any Blu-ray haul that I might have. That's and maybe what my plans might be for watching over the next week, and then that's going to be it. And I'll try to learn how to do timestamps. So if you're here for the movie content and you want to skip the book content, I hopefully will be able to jump you right to that. I just got to figure out how to do timestamps. But so anyway, let's get right into it, shall we? Let's get to the book portion, my weekend books portion. I have finished since I last talked to you, which was, I'm looking at my channel content right now, was April 2nd. I did a Friday Reads video. So I have finished in that time 2 books. Had a lot of stuff going on. I finished, and both these books have been over in the past week and a half. I think this might have been a couple weeks ago, but I finished Piranesi finally by Susanna Clarke. This was really easy to finish. As soon as I started reading the second half, I couldn't put it down. Really, really good book right here. If you're unfamiliar with this book, and it's been everywhere, it was just shortlisted for the Women's Prize. Have not heard much negative about this book, but our character Piranesi lives in this kind of self-contained fantasy world, and he spends his time exploring the halls and documenting what he sees, and he knows of only one other person in this world who he refers to as the Other, and the Other is the person who has given him his name of Piranesi. And then it just gets into more and more how he came to be where he is, who the Other really might be, and I don't want to go, because it really is about the discovery of everything along with him. So I really don't want to go into too much. But seriously, if you haven't picked up this, and I haven't read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, so I had no idea really how good Susanna Clarke was. And this book was just fantastic. And I do want to pick up Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, even though I am very intimidated by that book. It's very long, and it's got footnotes, and I'm very intimidated by that one. But I do want to pick it up sometime, especially now having read this. This one, everything just tied. There started to be all these threads, and you started to wonder how she was going to tie everything in. And she just masterfully did it. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about this book. And just today, I finished 12 Kings and Sherikai by Bradley P. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and I keep meaning to look it up. Below, I think I've heard it pronounced. I apologize. I suddenly realized I was going to have time to film, and I just went for it. But this is the first book in these Song of Shattered Sands. Sorry, I have other things here. The Song of the Shattered Sands series, which book 6, the final book 6, is coming out in July. So it's a really great time to finally finish this up. Again, people who have been with me for a while, you will have seen this book before. I've actually been working on this book for about 2 years. And that is to say nothing about the quality of the book. It has just been bad timing for me every time I've picked it up. I'm able to read for a bit in it, and I'm loving it, and then things happen, and I stop reading just altogether. So it's just been bad timing. But a testament to, I read probably the last close to 200 pages over the last couple days. Testament to how good this book is. I didn't need to go back and reread. I didn't have to go back and start from the beginning. And it had probably been a good year since I picked it up the last time. I still remembered. I skimmed back over the last chapter or two, just skimmed through them just to refresh my memory about where exactly I was at. But and the things that came up towards the end that maybe I should have forgot. As soon as they got brought up, I went, "Oh yeah, that's right. That's how good this book is." It stuck with me, and I didn't need to go back to the beginning and reread. This is a kind of Middle Eastern inspired desert fantasy. We're dealing with a character, Cheda, who his mother was killed by the 12 kings of Sherikai. And she is vowed to kill the 12 kings. So we have her kind of revenge, the main plot line of her revenge. But there's also this group called the Moonless Host, who is after the 12 kings in Sherikai. And then you have this other guy who is after the Moonless Host. And the interplay of just how Cheda needs to work everything, it's just so fantastic. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. That's just an initial thing. I could very easily be jumping this up to 5 stars. I don't care super much about star ratings. They're so personal. I don't think they're a good true reflection of a book because reading is subjective. So I mostly star rate because it does help the authors on Goodreads and stuff. But yeah, and then we're gonna go right into my currently reading. Well, it will be a currently reading in probably about an hour because I'm going to roll right into With Blood Upon the Sand, book 2. So, yeah, that's a preview of plans for reading over the next week. But what I'd like to do, and I'm not very good at doing this, I'm not very good at just binging a series and just reading one, but I would love to just, because I have book 3. I point over there like you can see my book room way over there. But I have book 3 in hardcover in my other room. I actually have both book 2 and 3 on Kindle too. But I have book 3, Veil of Spears, already, and I'm gonna pick up the hardcover editions of books 4 and 5, and I'm gonna pre-order book 6, I think. But I would love to be able to just one right after the other and just bust through this series. I don't know if I'll be able to. I'm not good at doing that. But I'd like to. I would love to be able to just start getting through some of these fantasy series that way. Really, guys. Hey. Sorry, cats are fighting. They think it's dinner time. It's not dinner time. So they're a little buggy. They're kind of bugging me a bit right now because they want me to feed them, and it's at least an hour away from dinner time. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so what else am I currently reading? Because I'm never reading just one thing. I started a couple nights ago. I started The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. I'm in a really big fantasy mood right now, so this is pretty much going to all be fantasy. But I'm not too far into this. I'm only like 20 pages into this so far, so I don't really know a ton about what it's about. I'll just read the back real quick because it's short. It says, Terrain is a soldier, stolen as a child and raised to kill and die for the Empire. She owes loyalty to only her fellow conscripts, but now her company has been sent back to her homeland to stop a rebellion, and ties of blood may be stronger than she thought. Luca needs a turncoat, someone desperate enough to tiptoe the bayonet's edge between treason and orders, someone who can sway the rebels toward peace, while Luca focuses on what really matters, getting her uncle off her throne. Through assassinations and massacres in bedrooms and war rooms, Terrain and Luca will haggle over the price of a nation, but some things aren't for sale. Yeah. I've been hearing pretty good things about this, so I'm excited to get more into it. I'm on audio. I'm reading Detransition Baby by Tori Peters. I went ahead and picked up the audio book of this. This is about a trans woman and her former partner who is a trans woman who has detransitioned back to being a man, and he gets his boss pregnant, and he wants I can't characters' names, Reese. Amy has gone back to Ames. He has gotten his boss Katrina pregnant, and he wants Reese to help raise the child in hopes of getting back into Reese's life. I am seriously 65 pages into this. The narrator's good on the audio. This is for my in real life book club. I wasn't able to participate in the last book because I didn't finish Transcendent Kingdom, and then I wasn't going to be available at the time that they were doing the Zoom call anyway. So, one second. Sorry about that. They're driving me a little fucking nuts right now. Where was I at? Okay. Yeah, so The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. I'm hoping to get further into that. Detransition Baby. The narrator's pretty good so far. Oh, Real Life Book Club. That's where I was at. So yeah, I wasn't able to participate in the last one because I didn't finish Transcendent Kingdom. Just because I don't remember. Reading was an issue. So anyway, I do need to go back and finish Transcendent Kingdom. So I was enjoying it. I've heard fantastic things about it. So I do want to finish it at some point, but I'm just not in the mood for it right now. On my Kindle, I am currently reading The Lost War by, Justin Lee Anderson, I want to say. Yes, Justin Lee Anderson. This just won SPFBO 6. Self-published fantasy blog offer, if you don't know what SPFBO is. This is a self-published fantasy book. That's why it was SPFBO. And I'm about a quarter of the way through it. The big battle of the kingdom has happened, and they're trying to get the kingdom back on its feet after the battle, and the hero of the war is right now he is on a quest for the king to go somewhere with an envoy, and but there's still things going on, and I'm not describing this very well because I'm only a quarter of the way through it and I don't have a description up in front of me. But there is demons that roam the land. They're calling them reavers that sound like bandit, thief, bandit type characters. And then there's the darkened, which I haven't come across yet. And which sound like just kind of like a zombie type thing, almost like the what are they called in the Farseer trilogy? There were just empty shells that walk around and attack people. I can't remember what they're called. That's kind of what the darkened sound like. But I haven't run across them yet. But it's so far it's really good. I can already understand how it won SPFBO. And I would like to go and read all 10 books that were finalists for SPFBO, because what I'd like to do, I really would like to make self-published fantasy more of a focus in my reading. I'm kind of getting back to my roots in reading, and kind of getting back to my roots kind of almost with the channel even. But I started with the channel with reading a lot of fantasy, and then I went through this whole crisis of name because I was called eclectic, but I was only reading fantasy and horror, and it was a mess. But I'm kind of getting back to those roots of fantasy, and I would really like to start reading more self-published fantasy. It's one of my goals this year is to make self-published fantasy more of a priority, even though there is still a lot of traditionally published fantasy I want to read and will hopefully get to. But self-published fantasy there's from what I can tell, a lot of great stuff happening in self-published fantasy, and I would really want to dig into it. So I'm excited to get back to the Lost War too. I'm also reading another self-published fantasy on my Kindle, which is not published yet. It's being published on May 28th. It is called The Iron Crown by L.L. McRae, formerly known as L.L. McNeil, who I've talked about on this channel before with her Chronicles of Lunaria series, the first book being Maroda, which I loved, and I never got back to working on that series, but she was kind enough to send me an advance copy of her new first book in her new fantasy series, which is coming out on May 28th, called The Iron Crown. I do have a description of that one up because I'm so shallow into this. I'm only a couple of chapters in that I'm not going to do justice just like I didn't do The Lost War any justice trying to describe it. But it says, Fenn's first and only memory is finding himself in the middle of a forest, face to face with a dragon spirit mocking him. All knowledge gone apart from his own name. Lost and confused, his only hope for answers is Kalidra, a woman living on the edge of the world with her partner, forced to return home when her father dies. Kalidra has put off facing her estranged mother for 7 years, and she begrudgingly helps Fenn, forging papers for him so he can avoid the Queen's inquisitors. But her mother is the least of her worries when they discover an ancient enemy is rising again. It should be impossible with the Iron Crown in power, and Fenn is terrified he might unwittingly be playing a part in the war's resurgence. Surrounded by vengeful spirits and powerful magic, Fenn's desperate attempt to find his way home might well alter the fate of Tassar and every power in it. So yeah, that's The Iron Crown by L.L. McRae. It comes out May 28th. If it sounds interesting to you, pre-order a copy on Kindle. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I loved her first novel, Maroda. So far I predict mostly only positive things to say about this, just from the beginning of it. I still got a ways to go. But I'm not very far into it. My BookTube spin pick, it landed on number 1, and which is All God's Children by Aaron Gwynn. I started it a little bit. I'm not very far into it. This will be hopefully slowly by the end of June. I'm not really feeling it right now. Not that it's what I've read isn't good, it is, but it's just not where I'm at mood-wise, so we'll see if this happens. I kind of spur of the moment decided to do that BookTube spin thing. So that's that. I have picked up a couple of books in the last week or so. My Book of the Month club picks, Things We Lost to the Water by Eric Guyan. I always forget how to pronounce that NG. I'm horrible with that. This is a historical fiction novel. An immigrant Vietnamese family that settles in New Orleans and struggles to remain connected to one another as their lives are inextricably reshaped. This was my Book of the Month club pick. I picked up has an extra, The Office of Historical Corrections by Daniel Evans. This is a short story collection that I've heard fantastic things about. I've been hearing a lot of good things about Butter Honey Pig Bread by Francesca Ekwasi. It's interwoven stories of three Nigerian women, Kambrenachi and her twin daughters, Kehendi and Tai. So it's sounds like a interwoven short stories. I didn't realize that. This one, I'll go ahead and read the description of this one because I had never heard of this. I just came across it, and the description sounded good, so I bought it. City of a Thousand Gates by Rebecca Sachs. It looks like, I think this is a debut novel. Yeah, this is a debut novel out this year. It says, brave and bold, this gorgeously written novel introduces a large cast of characters from various backgrounds in a setting where violence is routine and where survival is defined by boundaries, walls, and checkpoints that force people to live and love within and across them. Hamid, a college student, has entered Israeli territory illegally for work. Rushing past soldiers, he bumps into Vera, a German journalist headed to Jerusalem to cover the story of Salem, a Palestinian boy beaten into a coma by a group of revenge-seeking Israeli teenagers. On her way to the hospital, Vera runs in front of a car that barely avoids hitting her. The driver is Idu, a new father traveling with his American wife and their baby. Idu is distracted by thoughts of a young Jewish girl murdered by a terrorist who infiltrated her settlement. Ori, a 19-year-old soldier from a nearby settlement, is guarding the checkpoint between Bethlehem and Jerusalem, through which Samer, Hamid's professor, must pass. These multiple strands open a magnificent and haunting novel of present-day Israel and Palestine. It's very timely right now, too, with everything that's going on in Gaza. And I bought this before that started happening. And I've also actually started reading this a little bit. The Arsonist City by Hala Alian. The Nasser family is spread across the globe: Beirut, Brooklyn, Austin, the California desert. A Syrian mother, a Lebanese father, and 3 American children all have lived a life of migration. Still, they've always had their ancestral home in Beirut, a constant touchstone, and the complicated, messy family love that binds them. But following his father's recent death, Idris, the family's new patriarch, has decided to sell. The decision brings the family to Beirut, where everyone unites against Idris in a fight to save the house. I realize I've said that different each time. They all have secrets, lost loves, bitter jealousies, abandoned passions, deep-set shame. That distance has helped smother. But in a city smoldering with the legacy of war, an ongoing flow of refugees, religious tension, and political protest, those secrets ignite, imperiling the fragile ties that hold this family together. Russell, Ink and Paper Blog, this is one of his top 5 of the year so far. So, yeah, I'm really interested in that one, too. But like I said, I'm in a huge fantasy mood right now. So we'll see when I actually get to those. But that is it on the books. So I'm going to roll right into talking about some films. If you're not interested in movies, don't want to hear about the movies I've watched, thanks for watching this far. And I hope you come back and for more bookish content, and you can subscribe to see that if this is your first time here and you want to hear more about some of the stuff I'm going to read. So going into the movies, I'm just going to have my Letterboxd here. I'm not going to go everything I've watched since the last time I talked about movies. We're only going to cover the last week or so, which is 4 movies. I watched Death Takes a Holiday, directed by Mitchell Leisen. This is from 1934, and this is Frederick March. Frederick March plays Death, and he decides he wants to find out why humans are so scared of him. So he takes a vacation and masquerades as a mortal. Becomes mortal for 3 days, and hangs out with this wealthy family. Only the father of the family knows who he really is. While he is vacationing, nobody dies. Massive accidents happen. People walk away unscathed. So it's really about him understanding humanity, and humanity learning and at least the humans he comes into contact with, trying to learning not to really be scared of him. It was really good. I gave it like 3.5 stars, I think. Yeah, it's part of the Criterion Channel right now has the Mitchell Layson collection, featuring a lot of films directed by him. Yeah, so I definitely recommend it. Death Takes a Holiday, directed by Mitchell Layson. Then I actually started this several weeks ago, and then I finally finished it the other night. This is Man Push Cart, directed by Ramin Barani. And this is about a Pakistani immigrant who operates a push cart in New York, and his struggles. His struggles just trying to make a life for himself in America. It's very it's very character driven. That's what I'll say. It's very character driven. I really enjoyed it. Again, I gave it 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. I'm probably going to bump that up to 4 because I've continued to think about it. Usually my ratings are like immediate reactions, and then I continue to think about things. But yeah, and days later, I realized I enjoyed it more than I thought. And actually, had I watched it all the way through, I probably would have given it a 4-star rating right away. But yeah, Man Push Cart, directed by Ramin Barani. Check it out. There's a Criterion edition out there. I actually kind of wanted I kind of wanted to watch it before I went ahead and bought the Criterion edition, and I think I am going to go ahead and buy the Criterion edition of it. Then I watched The Bakery Girl of Monsieur. I don't speak French, but this is a short directed by Eric Romer, part of the early French New Wave movement of films, and this is the first of his 6 moral tales. And in this, this literally is like a half an hour short, and so a guy passes the same girl on the street every day, and he slowly becomes more and more enthralled with her and wants to meet her, and he finally does bump into her. He asks her out for a meal, and she can't go right then, but says, we pass each other all the time, and then he doesn't see her again. He doesn't see her for weeks, so he spends his time walking the streets hoping to run into her and wondering why he's not running into her, and eventually he starts going into this bakery, and the young girl starts a flirtation with the young girl who works in the bakery. And that's about as much as I'm going to say because it's so short. But I really enjoyed it. I've watched a couple other shorts by Eric Romer. I'm kind of working my way through the Eric Romer collection on Criterion Channel. And yeah, he's so far very character-focused stories and director, and kind of each one so far has been centralized on a specific character and that character's experience. Yeah, I'm really enjoying them so far. I'm looking forward to the next one I have to watch is the second of the 6 moral tales. It's about an hour long. Still considered a short. Because it's not considered his first feature length. So, but it's about 55 minutes, and I'm looking forward to getting to that one. Then I watched The Lady Eve 2 days ago. I watched The Lady Eve, directed by Preston Sturges. This stars Henry Fonda and Barbara Stanwyck. This has been on my watch list for a long time, like years and years and years. I've been wanting to watch this movie, and I haven't. And basically, Henry Fonda's character is a wealthy son of a beer mogul. And on his way back from the Amazon, he runs into he meets Barbara Stanwyck's character by her doing, because she has learned that he is on the boat and is very wealthy, and her father are card sharps and want to take him for all his money. And so then there is the setup for the romantic comedy that ensues. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Definitely going to buy the Criterion Collection edition of this. I don't know why I waited so long to watch this. If you haven't watched this, if you have the Criterion channel, it leaves at the end of this month, so get on it on the Criterion channel. Other than that, just rent it or just buy it. Just go ahead and blind buy it if you haven't seen it. It's worth it. I definitely enjoyed it. And now that's the films I've watched. I don't know what I'm going to be watching over the next week. It's always just kind of whatever I'm in the mood for. I do got some time on Saturday. My wife has a callback, in-person audition callback. First one since before COVID began. Everything has been virtual, and but it's they're going to do the callbacks hopefully outdoors, and it's for this like driveway theater kind of thing, and so the people can hire the theater to come to their driveway and perform. It's something they did last year to just be able to do some theater during COVID. So she's got a callback audition for that. So I'm gonna have a good amount of time to watch something. I might try and watch one of my things that's like over 3 hours long, because I've got like Blue is the Warmest Color that I need that I bought and need to watch. I've got Christ Stopped at Eboli, that's like 3.5 hours. I've got La Belle Nuit, that's like 3.5 hours. Which I forgot. But I'll be right back. Okay, sorry, I realized I forgot a couple of things for the Blu-ray haul portion. But yeah, so on Saturday I think I'm gonna try to watch one of my lengthier ones. La Fleur, the 4-part La Fleur leaves Criterion Channel this month, and I haven't gotten to it. That's like a 15-hour thing in like 4 parts that are like between 3.5 and 4 hours a piece. So I might try and start that. I don't know. I don't get many opportunities to watch my Blu-rays a lot just because of circumstances. Because I like those I kind of want to sit and watch straight through, and I just don't always get that kind of time. So it might be one of my Blu-rays. We'll see. But so let's get into, this is more than a week's worth of stuff, obviously. But I wanted to show some of the stuff I've gotten recently. I'm not going to go into great detail, but we're gonna bust through it. First two are DVDs, actually, and I got Preparations to Be Together for an Unknown Period of Time. This was one of the Spirit Award nominees for International Feature, so I watched it for that. It did not win. Quo Vadis Aida won, which it should have, and that's what I voted for. And I personally think it should have won the Academy Award, even though I still haven't seen 2 of the Oscar nominees for Best International Feature. I haven't seen Better Days or The Man Who Sold His Skin, but they're on Hulu, and I will watch them eventually. But I know Another Round was always the favorite for that and was always the one that was going to win, and I liked Another Round. It was fine, but Quo Vadis Aida just was a gut punch. It was just so fantastic. It's on Hulu. Go watch it. But this is Preparations to Be Together for an Unknown Period of Time. I did really enjoy this one, but it wasn't going to be once I saw Quo Vadis Aida, that was it. That was the one to beat. And this didn't, unfortunately, beat that in my mind, but it was still very good. A woman moves, a Hungarian woman, she's a doctor in America, and she moves back to Hungary because she was supposed to have this encounter a Hungarian doctor she met at a conference. They were supposed to meet on this bridge, and he never showed. And when she did finally track him down, he acted like he had never seen her before. So then you started to get into an unreliable narrator situation, and she moved back to Hungary to try and be near him. And yeah, it was really good. Then I just mentioned this one, La Belle Nuit, translates to The Beautiful Troublemaker. I started to watch this when it was on the Criterion Channel, but I didn't. I was only able to watch like the first half hour, 40 minutes of it, so I didn't really get. It's like 3.5 hours, and I was never able to get back to it, and then it left the channel. But it's about a woman who ends up becoming the model for this artist. Her husband kind of volunteers her for it. That's about as far as I got. I've heard good things about it, but once it left Criterion Channel, the only way for me really the only way for me to see it was to buy a copy. And now I know I bought this DVD copy, and recently Kino has a Blu-ray version of it too. So if I really like it, I will upgrade to the Blu-ray maybe. I got the Criterion edition of Ivan's Childhood. I've talked about this one before. This is Andrei Tarkovsky's first film. Fantastic movie. I got the Criterion edition of Irma Vep. I haven't seen this. This is an Oliver Assayas. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm sorry. Again, I've heard good things. This is on the Criterion Channel right now too, but I had already pre-ordered the edition of it. Maggie Cheung is in this, if you know who she is. Sorry, I'm not going into a lot of detail about the movie because, again, like books, I haven't watched most of these. Bong Joon-ho's Memories of Murder. I had pre-ordered the Criterion edition of this. Bong Joon-ho, you may well know, is the director of Parasite, so I've been wanting to dig into more of his catalog. I finally popped for the Three Colors trilogy by Krzysztof Kozlowski. I have seen all of these. I've watched Blue and White very recently. I need to rewatch Red. I saw Red years ago, like 20 some years ago, when it first came out on VHS. I owned a copy, and I watched it a couple of times then, and I remember really enjoying it, but I don't really remember what it was about. I know I've seen it multiple times, but I really don't remember what it was about. But now that I've watched Blue and White, I want to rewatch Red. I got the Warner Archive new release of Another Thin Man. This is the third in the Thin Man series. I also have Thin Man and After the Thin Man. And actually, the Thin Man is the only one I've seen. So I really need to get on this. I got the Steelbook edition of The Witch. Robert Eggers' first feature film, also known as The Vivitch, because the way it's written with a double V. But yeah, really messed up movie. Warner Archive released a new edition of Dr. X. I watched this a long time ago. Not super long ago, but still. This is, if you know the Rocky Horror Picture Show, the science fiction double feature, the line, Dr. X has built a creature, this is the reference. And so we watched it when, one of the times we did Rocky Horror Show, and my wife wanted to watch she was singing that song in the show, and she wanted to watch all the films it was referencing. And this is now one I try and watch every Halloween season. I was able to get for like $5 Frank Sinatra, Gene Kelly, and Katherine Grayson, Anchors Away. Just fun musical. I'm pretty sure this is the one that's got the Gene Kelly with Jerry the Mouse animated dance. And on the back here, you see the little animated sequence here. So I'm pretty sure this is the one with the Jerry dance. Increased my Audrey Hepburn collection by 1 with War and Peace. I actually haven't seen this one, so I'm looking forward to that. I grabbed from Kino The Tobacconist. This is a recent German film. I want to say German. I think is it a German film? I don't remember, but features this guy ends up working in a tobacconist shop. Sigmund Freud. This guy plays Sigmund Freud, and is a customer at the tobacconist shop, and he meets this dance hall girl and falls in love with her, and kind of Sigmund Freud helps, and all this happens as the Nazis are starting to occupy. I watched at the end of April, I watched Moonlight, the Academy Award winning Best Picture winner by directed by Barry Jenkins. Fantastic. I totally see why it won. And I ordered a copy right after I watched it. It was just fantastic. I also picked up Green Book. I kind of want to go back. I want to watch the Best Picture winners that I haven't seen. And this is one of those, and I just went ahead and just bought a copy of it because it looked good. And I also want to watch, like, from a certain point in time, like I think I've got, like, since the year 2000, like this century, international feature winners, and this is A Fantastic Woman, and it is a called Best Foreign Language Film at that time. But that's why I picked this up. And that's it. That's the Blu-ray haul portion. If you've stuck with me through all 47 minutes of this video and cat fighting and all of that, I thank you. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of them, what you're planning on reading over the next week or so. Movies, have you seen any of these? What are your thoughts? What have you watched recently that you really like? Maybe I'll check it out. Other than that, thank you to all my subscribers. I really appreciate every single one of you. So, those of you who made it to the end of this video, I really appreciate that. Like I said, talk to me in the comments, drop an emoji, say hi, like, comment, subscribe, bell icon, you know the drill. I'll see you all in the next one.